The sky over future Trunks' timeline burns red. Cities that once stood tall now crumble into ash and silence. This world has seen the face of divine judgment. This world has felt the cold hand of a god who decided mortals were mistakes that needed correction. But something impossible is happening. In the ruins of West City, a woman clutches her dying child. She has given up on miracles. She has accepted that this is how her story ends. The child coughs blood. The mother closes her eyes and waits for death. Then she feels it. Warmth. Gentle and impossible warmth spreading through her son's broken body. She opens her eyes and sees him. The destroyer. The monster in Goku's stolen flesh. Goku Black. His hand glows with healing Kai as he mends the child's wounds. His face shows confusion, as if his own hands have betrayed him. As if mercy is a language he never learned but somehow speaks. The child breathes. The mother screams. Not in pain, in terror mixed with impossible hope. Goku Black steps back, staring at his own trembling hands. His Risei aura flickers like a broken light, shifting between dark crimson and soft pink. He vanishes into the smoke before the mother can speak. Across the wasteland, survivors whisper in the dark. They whisper about the god of destruction who now walks among them like a ghost. They whisper about the murders that have stopped. They whisper about the monster who saves them, then disappears as if ashamed of his own kindness. Future Trunks stands on a cliff overlooking the ruins. His sword rests heavy on his back. His blue hair whips in the wind. He has tracked Goku Black for days. He has followed the trail of confused survivors and half-destroyed cities that now somehow stand. Mai's voice crackles through his communicator. She sounds afraid. She sounds hopeful. She says the words that make no sense. The destroyer is healing people. The killer is protecting the weak. Trunks grips his sword tighter. Rage burns in his chest. This is a trick. This must be a trick. Goku Black killed his mother. Goku Black erased his timeline. Goku Black took everything. There is no redemption for a god who chose genocide. But then he sees him. In a valley below, Goku Black kneels beside an old man trapped under rubble. Black lifts the concrete with one hand. Gentle, careful, the old man cries and thanks him. Black does not respond. He stares at the old man's tears as if seeing water for the first time. As if emotions are alien technology he is trying to reverse engineer. Trunks descends. His Kai flares blue and gold. His rage screams for justice. But something stops him. Something in the way Black moves. Something in the way Black's shoulders slump under invisible weight. This is not the arrogant god who laughed while murdering millions. This is something else. Something broken. Something lost. Black senses Trunks. He turns slowly. His eyes, Goku's eyes but wrong, meet Trunks' gaze. And in those eyes Trunks sees what terrifies him most. Guilt, confusion, fear. The eyes of someone who has woken from a nightmare to find the blood on his hands is real. Black speaks. His voice is Goku's voice but hollow. He says one sentence that changes everything. I do not know what I am anymore. Somewhere beyond space and time, in a realm where gods watch mortals like insects, Zamasu screams. He screams because his perfect weapon has developed a conscience. He screams because his divine justice has been infected with mortal weakness. He screams because Goku Black, his masterpiece of righteous destruction, has chosen mercy over judgment. And when a fallen god realizes he has lost control of his greatest creation, he does something that will shatter timelines and force enemies to become allies. He does something that makes Goku Black's redemption the only hope for existence itself. Inside Goku Black's mind a war rages. Two voices, two souls, two identities fighting for control of one stolen body. Zamasu's voice echoes like thunder, cold, absolute, divine. It speaks of mortal sins and divine duty. It repeats the same words like a prayer gone wrong. Mortals are errors. Gods are perfection. Justice requires extinction. But underneath that divine hatred, another voice whispers, warm, confused, human. It speaks in fragments of memories that do not belong to Zamasu. Memories of a woman with gentle eyes cooking in a small house on Mount Paozu. Memories of a son with black hair crying tears of pride. Memories of fighting not to destroy but to protect. Memories of a Saiyan named Goku who loved battles but loved his family more. Black stands alone in the ruins of East City. His body trembles. His hands clench and unclench. Zamasu's voice commands him, destroy the survivors hiding in the subway tunnels. Complete the Zero Mortals plan. Fulfill your divine purpose. Black's feet move toward the subway entrance. His hand rises, gathering destructive Kai. The pink and black energy swirls in his palm. One blast, just one blast and 200 mortals cease to exist. One blast and the plan continues. But then he hears them. Children's voices, singing to forget their fear, singing to pretend the world has not ended, singing a melody that triggers something deep in Goku's stolen neural pathways. Black's hand freezes. The energy dissipates. His entire body locks as Goku's memories flood his consciousness like a dam breaking. He sees Kai singing that same song to a young Gohan. He feels the warmth of a home he never lived in. He tastes food he never ate. He remembers love he never felt. And for the first time since the body swap on Universe 10's sacred world of the Kais, Black feels something Zamasu has never known. Regret. Black stumbles backward. His breathing accelerates. Panic, raw and mortal, grips him. What is happening? Why do these mortal emotions burn like acid in his divine consciousness? Why does the thought of killing those children feel like killing himself? Zamasu's voice roars louder. You are weak. You are corrupted. You are betraying your purpose. Erase these mortal feelings. Destroy these pathetic insects. Prove your divinity. Black clutches his head. His Risei aura explodes outward, unstable and flickering. He screams, and the scream contains two voices. Zamasu's rage and Goku's anguish blending into something neither God nor mortal can recognize. The internal battle intensifies. Zamasu shows Black visions of mortal cruelty. Wars, murders, betrayals, pollution, greed. He shows every sin that justified the Zero Mortals plan. He shows why mortals deserve extinction, but Goku's memories counter with different visions. Gohan choosing to spare Cell's life because mercy is strength. Piccolo sacrificing himself to save a child he once wanted dead. Vegeta, the prince of all Saiyans, learning to fight for others instead of himself. Krillin, Yamcha, Time, Master Roshi, Bulma, every mortal friend who made Goku stronger not through power but through connection. Black falls to his knees. Tears, real mortal tears, stream down his face. He does not understand why he is crying. Gods do not cry. Gods do not doubt. Gods do not feel this crushing weight of actions that cannot be undone. In this moment, Goku Black is neither God nor mortal. He is something in between, something impossible. A divine soul infected with human compassion. A righteous weapon developing a conscience. A killer realizing the weight of his kills. He remembers every face, every scream, every life he erased in Zamasu's name. Future Bulma, gunned down like an animal. The resistance fighters, slaughtered while begging for mercy. The children who died calling for parents who could not save them. Millions of souls extinguished because a god decided they were mistakes. Black's hands dig into the concrete beneath him. The concrete cracks. His power flares uncontrollably. But this is not the power of divine wrath. This is the power of guilt given form. This is the energy of a soul tearing itself apart. Zamasu's voice tries one final command. Kill yourself. If you cannot serve divinity, erase this corrupted vessel. Prove your loyalty to our cause. End this weakness. Black's hand moves to his own throat. His fingers tighten. Divine Kai concentrates at his fingertips. One burst and this internal war ends. One burst and Zamasu's plan can continue through his immortal counterpart in Trunks' timeline. But then Black sees it. A reflection in a broken piece of glass. Goku's face staring back at him. But the eyes are different. The eyes are his own. The eyes show something Goku never had to carry. The weight of genocide. the burden of being a weapon of mass extinction. Black's hand drops. He speaks to Zamasu for the first time as an opponent instead of a partner. No. The word echoes in his mind like a declaration of war against himself. No, I will not kill for you anymore. No, mortals are not mistakes. No, I refuse your divine justice. Zamasu's presence in Black's mind erupts with fury. The psychic connection between them burns like fire. Zamasu tries to reassert control, tries to force Black's body to obey, tries to override Goku's soul influence with pure divine will. But something has changed in the neural pathways of Goku's stolen body. The body remembers. The body recognizes compassion as its natural state. The body rejects hatred as a foreign virus. And when a Saiyan's body chooses protection over destruction, not even a Supreme Kai's soul can force it to kill. Black stands. His Risei aura stabilizes, but the color shifts. Less crimson, more pink. The darkness in the energy fades degree by degree. His posture changes. Less arrogant god, more confused warrior. He looks at his hands, Goku's hands, and makes a decision that will change everything. He speaks to the empty ruins. His voice is quiet but certain. I do not know if I can be forgiven. I do not know if redemption is possible for a god who chose extinction. But I know I cannot be Zamasu's weapon anymore. I know I cannot kill another child. I know that if Goku's memories live in this body, then perhaps his purpose should too. Black turns away from the subway entrance, away from the 200 mortals he was ordered to kill. He walks into the wasteland without direction, without plan. A god who abandoned his mission, a weapon who broke itself, a destroyer choosing mercy even though mercy feels like dying. Behind him, the children in the subway continue singing. They do not know they were seconds from death. They do not know a god chose their lives over his own purpose. They sing in hope for tomorrow. And in that choice, in that single moment of defiance, Goku Black takes his first step toward something he has never been. Something Zamasu could never create. Something even Goku's memories cannot fully explain. He takes his first step toward becoming himself. But across the timelines, Zamasu feels the betrayal. And what a fallen god does when his perfect plan crumbles will force Goku Black to face not just his past, but every timeline's future. Future Trunks has learned to track killers. He learned it from watching his mother build weapons in the dark. He learned it from burying bodies too small for graves. He learned it from surviving in a timeline where hope died decades ago and only vengeance kept hearts beating. Black's energy signature is different now. Less chaotic, more contained. But Trunks does not care about differences. He cares about justice. He cares about the billions of voices silenced by divine arrogance. He cares about making the destroyer feel even a fraction of the pain he inflicted. Mai's voice crackles through the communicator again. She warns him. She says Black has not attacked anyone in 3 days. She says survivors are reporting healings instead of murders. She begs Trunks to observe before engaging. Trunks crushes the communicator in his fist. Observation is for people who have time. Observation is for people whose mothers were not executed in cold blood. Observation is for people who did not watch their entire civilization burn, while a god wearing his mentor's face laughed about mortal weakness. He finds Black at dawn in the remains of Capsule Corporation, the building where Trunks' mother spent her final years trying to save a world already lost. Black stands before the ruins like a mourner at a grave. His hand touches the broken wall where Bulma's lab once stood. His expression carries something Trunks has never seen on that stolen face. Sorrow. Trunks does not announce himself. Warriors who announce attacks are warriors who die. His sword ignites with blue Kai, the blade that Vegeta's final atonement helped forge, the blade that carries the hopes of every murdered soul in this timeline. He appears behind Black in a flash of speed that would make even Goku proud. The sword descends toward Black's neck with enough force to split mountains. Black moves, but not to attack. He moves to deflect. His hand catches the blade with bare skin and divine Kai. The impact creates a shockwave that levels what remains of Capsule Corporation's West Wing. But Black does not counter, does not strike, does not gather destructive energy. He simply holds the blade and looks at Trunks with eyes that contain too much emotion for a god. Trunks screams. The scream contains every loss, every nightmare. Every morning he woke to find another friend dead. He pulls back and attacks again, and again, and again. Each strike faster, each strike stronger, each strike carrying the weight of a timeline's extinction. Black evades. His body moves with Goku's instinctive combat intelligence. Dodge left, weave right, block low, deflect high, but every movement is defensive. Every action designed to avoid hurting Trunks. This confuses Trunks more than any attack could. This is not the Black who impaled him through the chest while mocking his weakness. This is not the god who destroyed his world with casual divine cruelty. The fight escalates. Trunks transforms. Super Saiyan Blue blazes around him like righteous fire. His power has grown since that day he nearly died in Black's hand. Rage is an excellent teacher. Loss is a brutal trainer. Trunks has learned to channel his anguish into pure destructive force. He unleashes a combination that would overwhelm most fighters. Sword strike to the midsection, Kai blast to the face, instant transmission behind, knee to the spine, elbow to the skull, energy wave that could vaporize steel. Each attack connects. Each attack draws blood from Goku's stolen body. Each attack pushes Black backward through rubble and ruin. But Black does not retaliate. He takes the punishment like penance, like a guilty man accepting the verdict. His arms raised to block but never to strike. His Kai flares to protect but never to destroy. And this, more than anything, breaks something in Trunks' assault. Trunks pauses. His chest heaves. His knuckles bleed. His sword trembles in his grip. He stares at Black, who kneels in the rubble, head bowed, arms slack. Vulnerable, defeated. But not by power, defeated by something internal. Something that has nothing to do with their fight and everything to do with Black's war against himself. Why? Trunks' voice cracks. The word is not a question. It is an accusation. It is a demand for explanation that no explanation can satisfy. Why are you not fighting back? Why are you healing people? Why are you acting like you regret what you did when gods do not feel regret? Black raises his head. Goku's blood runs down his face. When he speaks, his voice contains layers. Zamasu's tone underneath. Goku's warmth struggling to surface. And something else. Something new. Something that belongs to neither God nor Saiyan. I remember training you. Black's words come slow, painful, like each syllable costs him something vital. I remember teaching you the Kamehameha when you were 8 years old. I remember you calling me Goku and looking at me like I was a hero, but I was not there. These are not my memories. They are his, Goku's, the man whose body I stole, the warrior whose life I erased. Trunks' sword lowers an inch. His blue aura flickers. Black continues. His hands shake. Every time I try to kill, his memories stop me. Every time I see a child, I see Gohan. Every time I hear fear, I feel something that gods should not feel. Guilt, shame, horror at what I have done. Zamasu's voice still screams in my mind, commands me to finish the plan. But Goku's soul refuses, and I am trapped between divinity and mortality, between destroyer and protector, between what I was created to be and what this body remembers being. A tear falls from Black's eye, a single drop of water that should be impossible for a Supreme Kai's consciousness to produce. It lands in the dust, and Trunks sees it, sees the evidence that something fundamental has broken in the god who murdered his world. Trunks' grip tightens on his sword. Part of him wants to end this, wants to drive the blade through Black's heart and call it justice. But another part, the part that sounds like his mother's wisdom, recognizes something true in Black's words. Recognizes the difference between the arrogant god who killed Bulma and this broken thing kneeling in rubble. Goku's memories are not just images. Black's voice drops to a whisper. They are feelings, instincts, moral codes burned into neural pathways. This body does not want to kill. It wants to protect. And fighting that instinct is like fighting gravity, possible but exhausting. And I am tired. So tired of being a weapon for a cause I no longer believe in. Around them, golden light begins to manifest. Not from Black's Risei transformation. Something else. Something that looks like Goku's base form, Kai's signature bleeding through dimensions. The memories are not just psychological. They are energetic, imprinted on the body's cellular structure. Visible to anyone with the sense to see. Trunks sees them. Fragments of golden light forming shapes around Black. Kai's smile. Gohan's determined face. Goku's trademark grin. Master Roshi's turtle school gi. Krillin's bald head. All the connections that made Goku more than just a fighter. All the bonds that turned a Saiyan warrior into Earth's greatest protector. And in that moment, Trunks understands something that makes him lower his sword completely. This is not Goku Black. Not anymore. This is something unprecedented in all of Dragon Ball's complex multiverse. A body swap gone wrong in a way Zamasu never predicted. A divine soul contaminated by mortal love. A god developing a conscience because the flesh he stole remembers what it means to care. Trunks' rage does not disappear. Rage like his does not evaporate with understanding. But it shifts, redirects. Because the real enemy is not this broken hybrid in front of him. The real enemy is the Zamasu who created this weapon. The immortal god who still believes in extinction. The fallen Supreme Kai who will not stop just because his partner developed a conscience. You are not him. Trunks' words are not forgiveness. They are acknowledgement. You are not the Goku who trained me, but you are not the monster who killed my mother either. You are something else, something wrong, something that should not exist. Black nods. His agreement is immediate. Absolute, I know. The question is, Trunks sheathes his sword, his decision made. Can something that should not exist choose to do something right? Can a weapon built for extinction become a shield for protection? Can you fight against the god who created you? Black stands. His Risei aura reignites, but the color continues its shift toward lighter pink. Away from corruption, toward something purer. I do not know, but I know I must try. Because if I do not, Zamasu will complete what I started. And this timeline, every timeline, will fall to a god who sees love as weakness and mercy as sin. Trunks and Black stand facing each other, not as friends, not even as allies yet, but as two warriors who recognize a greater threat. A temporary truce born from necessity and the strange reality that sometimes the enemy's weapon can turn against its creator. Mai's voice returns through the broken communicator. Panicked. Desperate. Trunks, we are detecting massive godly Kai signatures. Multiple timelines. Something is happening, something big. Trunks and Black exchange a glance. They both feel it. The rage pouring through dimensional barriers. The fury of a god who has realized his perfect plan has been sabotaged by the very tool he designed. Zamasu knows. Black's voice carries certainty and dread. He knows I have betrayed him. And when a fallen Supreme Kai realizes he has lost control, he does not accept defeat. He escalates. He evolves. He becomes something worse than extinction. He becomes personal. In Universe 10's sacred world of the Kais, where time flows differently and gods watch mortal realms like insects under glass, Zamasu stands alone. His green skin gleams with divine radiance. His white hair flows despite the absence of wind. His Patara earrings, the symbol of supreme Kai authority, catch light that comes from nowhere and everywhere. But his face shows what divinity looks like when it breaks. Gawasu, his former master, approaches with tea. The old Kai's hands shake, not from age, from fear. He has watched his student descend into madness before, watched him develop the Zero Mortal's plan, watched him murder his way across timelines. But this is different. This rage is new. This fury transcends his previous philosophical hatred. Zamasu. Gawasu's voice carries the weight of a teacher who failed to save his student. Whatever you are planning, consider the consequences. The Grand Priest has taken notice of your temporal violations. Zeno himself may intervene if you continue disrupting the multiverse's balance. Zamasu turns. His eyes, once filled with cold certainty, now burn with something closer to insanity. Consequences. He speaks the word like it tastes of poison. I created the perfect weapon. I stole the body of the mortal Goku. I merged my divine consciousness with Saiyan power. I designed the ultimate tool for divine justice, and it has betrayed me for mortal weakness. The psychic connection between Zamasu and Black still exists, weakened but present. Through it, Zamasu feels everything Black feels: the guilt, the compassion, the hesitation, all the mortal emotions that make gods vomit, all the weakness that justifies extinction. And feeling these emotions through their shared bond disgusts Zamasu more than any mortal sin ever did. Gawasu sets down the tea. Steam rises like prayers unanswered. Zamasu, perhaps this is a sign. Perhaps Goku's soul proved stronger than you anticipated because love is a power you never understood. Perhaps mercy is not weakness but strength beyond your philosophy. Zamasu's hand moves faster than Gawasu can perceive. Divine Kai pierces Gawasu's chest. Not enough to kill. Supreme Kais are difficult to kill without specific techniques, but enough to hurt, enough to send a message. The old Kai falls, clutching the wound, staring up at his student with eyes that finally understand there is no redemption here. Love is delusion. Zamasu's voice drops to something cold and final. Mercy is suicide. And if my weapon has been corrupted by Goku's mortal soul, then I will prove why mortals deserve extinction by becoming the extinction myself. Not just of mortals, of gods who fail to enforce divine order, of supreme Kais who allowed mortal civilization to spread like cancer, of everyone who believes life without justice has value. He leaves Gawasu bleeding on sacred ground, leaves Universe 10 behind. His destination is not one timeline but many. His target is not one enemy but all of them. And his method will make his previous atrocities look like mercy. Zamasu appears in Universe 7, not the present where Beerus sleeps and Earth thrives, the future, Trunks' timeline, the timeline where his immortal counterpart still exists, where future Zamasu, the version of himself who achieved indestructibility through Super Dragon Balls, waits. The two Zamasus face each other, mortal body versus immortal flesh, both wearing the face of divine judgment, both carrying the weight of a plan that has gone catastrophically wrong. Future Zamasu speaks first. His voice carries confusion. Our weapon has failed. Goku Black has developed a conscience. The Zero Mortal's plan cannot proceed with a tool that refuses to kill. Zamasu, the one who traveled here, smiles, but the smile contains no joy, only cold calculation. Then we do not need Goku Black. We need something greater, something that will prove why divine will is absolute and mortal emotion is delusion. We need to become the justice we preach. He extends his hand. Future Zamasu, immortal and curious, takes it. And in that handshake something unprecedented occurs. Not a Patara fusion. They are the same being across timelines. Patara would not work, but something else. Something that only identical souls from different timelines can achieve. Temporal resonance. Their energies synchronize. Mortal body and immortal flesh vibrating at the same divine frequency. Power doubles, triples, expands beyond limits. Zamasu's consciousness, already unstable, fractures across temporal dimensions. He exists in multiple timelines simultaneously, not as separate beings, as one entity experiencing several realities at once. And now comes the moment that changed everything. But before we reach that turning point, we need to understand why it had to happen. Why a god who already had immortality and a perfect body would sacrifice his sanity for power? The answer is simple and terrible. Because betrayal from your own weapon hurts worse than any mortal blade. Because being proven wrong by the very tool you designed breaks something in a mind that believed itself infallible. Because Zamasu did not just want to complete the Zero Mortal's plan anymore. He wanted to punish Goku Black for choosing mortals over divinity, and punishment requires power beyond reason. The temporal resonance completes. What emerges is not two Zamasus. It is one Zamasu experiencing existence from multiple temporal positions. His perception of reality fractures. He sees past, present, and future simultaneously. He exists in 6 timelines at once. His consciousness spreads like a virus across dimensional barriers, and with that fractured perception comes a terrible revelation. Gods are not immune to mortality. Supreme Kais can die. Divine order is just philosophy without enforcement. And if the gods who rule the multiverse have allowed mortals to flourish, then those gods are as guilty as the mortals themselves. Zamasu makes a decision that will change his plan from 0 mortals to 0 everything. He begins hunting gods. His first target is Universe 3's Supreme Kai, a peaceful deity overseeing a universe of technological mortals. Zamasu appears in the sacred realm. No warning, no philosophy, just divine execution. His energy blade pierces the Supreme Kai's core. The deity's eyes widen, not in pain, in confusion, in the terrible realization that divine immunity means nothing when another god decides you deserve death. The Supreme Kai's life force flows into Zamasu, not absorption like Majin Buu, something cleaner, divine essence extraction. The raw power that makes a Supreme Kai transferred from dying god to living zealot. Zamasu's energy signature spikes. His eyes glow brighter. His already immense power doubles from a single divine execution. He does not stop with Universe 3. Universe 9's Supreme Kai falls next, then Universe 4, then Universe 6. One by one, Zamasu appears in sacred realms across the multiverse. One by one, gods who believe themselves untouchable feel a blade forged from righteous fury. One by one, divine essences fuel Zamasu's transformation into something beyond Supreme Kai, beyond God of destruction, beyond anything the multiverse's hierarchy has language to describe. The Grand Priest senses the disturbances. Wise feels them too. Every angel in every universe turns their attention to the growing catastrophe. But Zamasu has learned from his previous failures. He moves between timelines too quickly to track. He executes gods in seconds and vanishes before angels can respond. He is not just killing. He is proving a point. That divine order is a lie. That gods are as weak as mortals. That the only true justice is extinction of everyone who allowed the multiverse to fall into chaos. By the time the angels organize a response, Zamasu has absorbed the divine essence of 12 Supreme Kais. His body begins to change. No longer just green skin and white hair, crystalline structures grow from his flesh. Divine Kai solidifies into physical matter. His form shifts between mortal body and something that looks like compressed starlight. Beautiful and terrible, ordered and chaotic, God and corruption given equal expression. This is Zamasu's final evolution, not from training, not from fusion, from consuming the power of gods who believed themselves safe, from stealing divinity from those who failed to enforce it, from becoming the justice he preached by embodying the very thing he hates most. Change, evolution, adaptation, all the mortal traits he despises now manifested in divine flesh. And his new mission is simple: erase everyone, mortals for being weak, gods for allowing weakness, angels for serving flawed order, Zeno for creating a multiverse that permitted failure. Everyone, everything, every timeline, every possibility, until only Zamasu remains, the last consciousness in an empty multiverse, alone but perfect, insane but pure. He appears in future Trunks' timeline, his energy signature so massive that every living thing feels it. Plants wilt, water evaporates, the sky itself cracks like glass under pressure. He is looking for Goku Black, looking for his traitorous weapon, looking to prove that mercy is weakness by destroying everyone Black tried to save. And when that confrontation happens, when Creator faces corrupted creation, the battle will not be about mortals versus gods anymore. It will be about whether a weapon can fight its maker, whether guilt can overcome divine fury, whether a destroyer who learned mercy can stand against extinction itself. Future Trunks feels the energy. Mai collapses from the pressure. Resistance fighters across the ruins scream as their bodies fail under the weight of Zamasu's presence. And Black, standing beside Trunks in temporary truce, stares at the sky with an expression that contains only one emotion: terror. Not for himself, for everyone, because he knows what Zamasu has become, knows what a god looks like when sanity breaks and power becomes the only language spoken, knows that the fight ahead will require more than strength. It will require allies he does not have, power he does not possess, and miracles from a multiverse that has run out of miracles to give. Black speaks, his words directed at Trunks but meant for fate itself. We cannot stop him alone. We need the others. We need Goku, Vegeta, Wise, everyone, because what Zamasu has become is not just extinction. It is the end of existence itself wearing a god's face. And if we do not gather every power source available, this timeline, every timeline becomes nothing but empty void and Zamasu's laughter. Trunks nods, his decision already made. Then we go to them. We bring your face to the people you terrorized. We ask the impossible. We build an alliance between a timeline's defender and the monster who destroyed it. We make them understand that sometimes the weapon is the only thing that can stop the one who forged it. They leave, Black and Trunks, destroyer and survivor, moving toward the present timeline where explanations will be difficult and trust will be impossible, moving toward the only hope they have, moving toward a confrontation between original and copy, between the real Goku and the god wearing his stolen flesh. Behind them, Zamasu's energy grows, spreading, consuming, turning future Trunks' timeline from ruins into active graveyard. The hunt has begun, and the prey is every living thing that dared to exist in a multiverse Zamasu has decided to cleanse. The time machine's interior smells like ozone and desperation. Future Trunks pilots with hands that have not stopped shaking since they left his timeline. Beside him, Goku Black sits in silence, his Risei aura dimmed to barely visible pink, his eyes fixed on nothing, a god in a stolen body traveling through time to face the man whose flesh he wears. The transition between timelines feels like drowning in light, every cell stretched, every atom questioned by temporal barriers, and then reality solidifies. They emerge over Capsule Corporation in the present timeline, where Bulma still lives, where hope has not died, where the world does not smell like ash and ending. Black stares down at the building. He has Goku's memories of this place, birthday parties for Trunks, dinners with friends, Vegeta's angry training sessions in the gravity room, all the normal moments that made a house a home, memories that burn in his consciousness like accusations. Trunks lands the machine hard. No gentle touchdown. They do not have time for gentle. Zamasu's presence grows stronger across dimensional barriers. They can both feel him hunting, closing distance, preparing for confrontation that will shatter timelines if not stopped. Bulma emerges from the building first, her blue hair tied back, grease on her hands from whatever machine she was upgrading. She sees Trunks and her face lights with relief. Then she sees Black, and her expression shifts through confusion, recognition, horror, and fury in 3 seconds flat. She does not scream. Bulma Brief has faced gods and monsters, has watched planets explode and timelines collapse, has buried too many friends to waste energy on fear. Instead, she reaches for the gun she has kept since Frieza's invasion, the one designed to hurt beings energy blasts cannot touch. Trunks moves between them. Mom, wait. His voice carries urgency that overrides her fury. I know how this looks. I know what he did, but everything has changed. We need Dad. We need Goku. We need everyone, and we need them now. Vegeta appears next, drawn by Trunks' Kai's signature. He emerges from the gravity chamber wearing his training gear and an expression of paternal concern that vanishes the instant he sees Black. The Saiyan Prince's transformation is immediate, base to Super Saiyan Blue in a fraction of a heartbeat. His energy explodes outward with killing intent so pure it shatters windows across West City. Vegeta does not speak, does not demand explanation. He simply attacks, his fist aimed at Black's skull with enough force to liquefy mountains. This is how Saiyans process betrayal, through violence, through making the betrayer feel pain equal to what they inflicted. Black does not dodge. He raises his arms to block but does not counter, does not transform, does not gather destructive Kai. He takes Vegeta's punch like a man accepting sentencing. The impact sends Black through 3 buildings. Concrete and steel explode. His body carves a canyon through West City's commercial district before stopping against a power plant. Vegeta is on him instantly. Punch, kick, knee, elbow, energy blast at point-blank range. Each strike contains years of accumulated fury. Fury at Black for existing. Fury at Zamasu for the audacity. Fury at the universe for allowing gods to play with Saiyan flesh like it is clay for divine sculptures. Trunks tries to intervene. Vegeta's backhand sends his son skidding across pavement. This is not your fight, boy. This is about principle. This abomination wears Kakarot's body, stole a Saiyan's pride, turned our greatest warrior into a weapon for extinction. And you ask me to wait, to listen, to accept this thing's presence. Black does not fight back. Blood, Goku's blood, pours from a dozen wounds. His healing factor activates but slowly, as if his body knows it deserves the punishment. As if Goku's cellular memory accepts Vegeta's fury as justified. Goku arrives in a flash of instant transmission, drawn by the energy signatures, drawn by the feeling that something impossible is happening. He appears between Vegeta and Black, his usual smile absent, his eyes, the real Goku's eyes, studying the god wearing his face. The sight stops everyone. 2 Gokus, original and copy, Earth's protector and his stolen doppelganger, standing meters apart in destroyed city streets while sirens wail and civilians flee, and the universe holds its breath. Goku speaks first. His voice carries none of his typical cheerfulness. So this is what I look like from the outside. Gotta say, weird. Really, really weird. You have my face, my body, even my energy signature underneath all that god stuff. But you are not me. So who are you? Black struggles to stand. His voice when it comes is quiet, defeated. I am Zamasu, Supreme Kai Apprentice of Universe 10. I stole your body through Super Dragon Ball Wish, murdered your family in another timeline, created the Zero Mortals plan, killed billions because I believed mortals were mistakes. And now I am here because the only thing that can stop Zamasu's final evolution is the body he corrupted. Goku's expression does not change. His hand does not move toward attack. He simply studies Black with the analytical gaze he reserves for opponents worth understanding. And then he asks the only question that matters. Do you still want to kill everyone? Black meets Goku's eyes. The real owner meeting the thief. No, the word carries weight of confession. I do not. Your memories, your soul, something in this body refuses to let me harm innocence anymore. Every time I try, I see your son's face, your wife's smile, your friend's loyalty, and I cannot be the weapon Zamasu designed. I can only be this broken thing that knows what it did and cannot undo it. Wise appears then, the angel materializing with his usual impeccable timing, and that knowing smile that suggests he has been watching this entire situation unfold from some higher dimensional perspective. His staff taps the ground once. The sound creates ripples in reality itself. How fascinating. Wise circles Black like an art critic examining a controversial sculpture, a body swap that retained fragments of the original soul. Zamasu's consciousness infected by Goku's emotional imprint. This should not be possible. The Super Dragon Ball's wish magic should have granted complete transference, but it seems Goku's bond with his body was strong enough to leave traces. Cellular memory, neural pathway preferences, emotional residue burned so deep that even divine consciousness could not erase it. He taps Black's chest with his staff. Divine Kai scans Black from core to surface. After a moment, Wise nods. Confirmed. This being carries approximately 37% of Goku's original soul essence. Not enough to be Goku, too much to be purely Zamasu. A hybrid entity that should be impossible but exists anyway. How delightfully unprecedented. Beerus arrives last, the god of destruction materializing from his afternoon nap with an expression of pure irritation, his purple cat-like features twisted in annoyance at being woken for what he assumed would be another mortal squabble. Then he senses Zamasu's energy signature bleeding through dimensional barriers, senses the divine essence of 12 murdered Supreme Kais corrupting the multiverse's balance, and his irritation transforms into something mortals rarely see on a god of destruction's face. Genuine concern. Beerus stares at Black, then at Wise, then at the sky where Zamasu's presence grows stronger. His voice when he speaks carries none of his usual laziness. Wise, tell me I am sensing this wrong. Tell me some idiot Supreme Kai did not just murder a dozen of his peers and absorb their divine essence. Tell me we do not have a rogue god trying to become something that breaks multiversal law. Wise smile fades. I am afraid you are sensing it correctly, Lord Beerus. Zamasu has evolved beyond our initial assessments. He has become an extinction-level threat not just to mortals but to divine order itself. And standard protocols for handling rogue deities may prove insufficient. Beerus' destruction energy flares, purple and gold Kai that makes reality itself recoil. Then we destroy him. Complete erasure. I will handle this personally. No rogue Supreme Kai gets to embarrass the gods by murdering his own kind. Black speaks, his voice steady despite standing before a god of destruction whose casual energy could erase him. You cannot destroy him. Not easily. He exists across multiple timelines simultaneously now. Temporal resonance with his immortal counterpart. You would have to erase him from 6 different dimensional positions at once. And while you are trying, he will be killing everyone in every timeline he occupies. Vegeta snarls. Then what do you suggest, abomination? We let him rampage while we strategize. We allow a rogue god to prove his insane philosophy correct by failing to stop him. Black turns to Vegeta, meeting the prince's fury with something that looks like respect mixed with resignation. I suggest you use me. I am Zamasu's greatest failure, his weapon that developed a conscience. I know how he thinks, how he fights, where his arrogance makes him vulnerable, and I carry enough of Goku's soul to potentially counter his techniques. I am not asking for forgiveness. I am not asking to be trusted. I am asking to be used as the tool I was designed to be, but aimed at my creator instead of innocence. Goku steps forward, his hand extended toward Black, not for a handshake, for a connection, palm to palm, energy to energy. Let me feel it. Let me sense if you are telling the truth. Because if you are lying, if this is some trick to get close to us, I will end you myself. But if you are being honest, if you really do carry part of my soul and my memories, then maybe we can work together. Because fighting yourself sounds kind of fun, honestly. Black takes Goku's hand. Their palms meet. And in that contact, energy flows. Goku's pure Kai meeting Black's corrupted divinity, meeting the fragments of original soul trapped between them. Goku's eyes widen as he feels it. Feels his own memories reflected back at him. Feels the love for Kai Kai and Gohan that Black carries like foreign objects in his consciousness. Feels the guilt and confusion and desperate desire to be something other than a weapon. Goku's expression softens. He does not smile, but the killing intent fades. Yeah, you are telling the truth. I can feel me in there. All twisted up with God stuff and regret, but it is definitely part of me. Weird, super weird, but also kinda cool in a messed up way. Vegeta makes a sound of disgust. Kakarot, you cannot be serious. This thing murdered your family in another timeline, stole your body, worked with an immortal psychopath to erase all mortal life. And you are willing to forgive him because he carries a few of your memories. Goku turns to Vegeta, his expression unusually serious. I am not forgiving him, but I am recognizing that something in my body would not let him keep being evil. And if a part of me was strong enough to infect a Supreme Kai's consciousness, then maybe that part deserves a chance to prove it can fight back. Besides, we need every advantage against this Zamasu guy, and having someone who knows all his moves seems pretty useful. Beerus grinds his teeth, the sound like mountains collapsing. Fine. But the instant this goes wrong, the instant this abomination proves to be a liability, I erase him personally. No trial, no second chances, just non-existence. Understood. Black nods, understood. I expect nothing less. I have already accepted that I deserve erasure. If I can stop Zamasu before that happens, then perhaps my existence will have had one moment of value. Wise taps his staff again. Then we should prepare. Zamasu will arrive in this timeline soon. His pattern suggests he is hunting Goku Black specifically. He wants to punish his weapon for betrayal, which means we have time to formulate strategy, time to train our unlikely ally, time to turn Zamasu's greatest failure into his final defeat. Bulma, who has been silent through all of this, finally speaks, her voice cold and controlled. If we are doing this, if we are actually allying with the thing that murdered me in another timeline, then I have conditions. She points at Black. You do not leave our sight. You do not make decisions alone. And if you betray us, if you hurt anyone here, I will build a weapon that makes divine erasure look merciful. Do we understand each other? Black meets her gaze, holds it despite the hatred burning in her eyes. We understand each other, Bulma brief. And for what it is worth, your counterpart in the other timeline fought bravely. She died protecting others. I tell you this not for forgiveness, but because you deserve to know that even in a doomed timeline, you were a hero. Bulma's expression does not soften, but she nods once. Acknowledgement without acceptance, the coldest form of truce. The unlikely alliance forms, not through trust, not through forgiveness, but through necessity and the strange reality that sometimes the enemy's weapon is the only tool sharp enough to cut the enemy down. They stand together in destroyed streets, Goku and his stolen copy, Vegeta and his barely contained fury, Trunks and the man who destroyed his timeline, Bulma and the monster who killed her, Wise and Beerus representing divine order, all united by a single terrible truth, that Zamasu has become something worse than extinction, and stopping him will require using the very thing he created, the weapon that learned mercy, the destroyer who chose protection, the god in stolen flesh who finally, impossibly, tragically understands why mortals deserve to exist, and as they prepare for war. As Wise begins analyzing Black's abilities and Vegeta plots training regimens and Goku grins despite everything, because fighting alongside yourself is peak Saiyan weird. The sky above them darkens. Not with clouds, with Zamasu's spreading presence, with the rage of a god who has decided that if his weapon will not obey, then everything the weapon touches must burn. The final war approaches. And what happens when Creator faces corrupted creation will determine if the multiverse survives or if Zamasu's philosophy of extinction finally, horribly, perfectly comes true. The gravity chamber hums at 400 times Earth's gravity, weight that would crush normal humans into paste, pressure that makes bones creak and muscles scream. But inside, 3 Saiyans stand: Goku, Vegeta, and the god wearing Goku's stolen body. Wise observes from outside the reinforced walls. His staff glows softly as it records data. Beerus lounges nearby, pretending disinterest while his eyes track every movement. This is not standard training. This is an experiment, an attempt to separate divine corruption from divine potential, to burn away Zamasu's hatred and leave only pure godly power channeled through Saiyan instinct. Black struggles under the gravity, his receive form active just to stay standing. Sweat pours down Goku's stolen face, his breathing labored. The body remembers lighter training, remembers when 400 times gravity was a milestone to celebrate. But divine consciousness, overriding Saiyan muscle memory, creates disconnect. Black fights his own flesh as much as he fights the pressure. Vegeta watches with arms crossed, his expression carved from contempt and calculation. He speaks without warmth. Your form is unstable. Risei flickers like a failing light. That is Zamasu's corruption fighting Goku's cellular structure. Divine arrogance trying to override Saiyan adaptability. As long as hatred fuels your transformation, you will never achieve true power. Black knows Vegeta is right, can feel it in every fluctuation of his aura. Zamasu's original Risei was powered by absolute certainty, by divine superiority, by the conviction that mortals were errors requiring correction. But Black no longer holds those beliefs, cannot hold them when Goku's memories show him mortal value, cannot maintain hatred when guilt has replaced righteousness. So his power falters, weakens. The divine Kai that once flowed effortlessly now stutters and stalls. He is a weapon forged for one purpose trying to serve another. A blade designed for cutting attempting to become a shield. Trunks steps forward, his hand on his sword. You will not die alone. I will stand with you, not because I forgive you, but because someone needs to make sure you actually fight instead of just accepting death as penance. Goku moves beside them, and I will be there because fighting myself sounds awesome. Also because you are kind of like my weird, evil brother now. And Saiyans do not abandon family, even really messed up family that used to want to kill everyone. Vegeta takes position on Black's other side. Do not misunderstand. I still despise you, still believe you deserve erasure. But Zamasu's arrogance offends me more than your existence. A rogue Supreme Kai thinking he can challenge Saiyan warriors, thinking he can win through stolen power and insane philosophy. That requires correction, violent correction. Wise and Beerus exchange glances. The angel and the god of destruction, teacher and student, order and chaos balanced. Beerus speaks first. If we are doing this, if we are actually betting the multiverse on using one rogue god to kill another, then I want it understood. When this ends, when Zamasu is dust and timelines are secure, there will be accounting. Black will face judgment. Not mortal judgment, divine judgment. And I do not care how many Supreme Kais he saves along the way. Some crimes transcend redemption. Black meets Beerus' eyes. The god of destruction's gaze that has erased planets for annoying him, that has deleted galaxies for disappointing him. And Black nods acceptance. I understand. And I agree. When this ends, when Zamasu falls, you may erase me. I will not resist, will not argue, will simply face whatever end gods decide I deserve. But until then, until Zamasu is stopped, let me be the weapon one final time. Let me cut down my creator. And let that single act of destruction be the only thing I do that history remembers with anything other than horror. The alliance solidifies, not through trust, not through forgiveness, but through shared purpose and the understanding that sometimes the only way to kill a god is with another god's weapon. They stand together in the fading light. Goku and his stolen self, Vegeta and his barely restrained killing intent, Trunks and his complicated grief, Wise and his calculating wisdom, Beerus and his divine authority, all united against Zamasu, against extinction philosophy made flesh, against the rogue Supreme Kai who decided the multiverse itself was a mistake. And as they finalize strategy, as Wise creates dimensional markers for tracking Zamasu's positions, as Goku and Vegeta spar one final time to warm up, as Trunks sharpens his sword and remembers his mother, Black stands apart, his new white transformation flickering briefly before fading. He whispers to himself, words meant for no one but spoken anyway because even gods need to believe their actions matter. Mother, Father, Gohan, Kai, Krillin, all of you whose memories I carry without right to carry them. I do not ask you to watch, do not ask you to forgive. But if any fragment of you remains in this stolen flesh, lend me your strength one final time. Let me be the protector you were instead of the destroyer I became. And when this ends, when my purpose is fulfilled, I will accept whatever void awaits without complaint. The night deepens. And somewhere across dimensional barriers, Zamasu feels his weapon's new transformation, feels the stable power that should not exist, feels betrayal compound with insult, and his rage, already infinite, expands beyond measurement. The hunt accelerates. The confrontation approaches. And what happens when creator and creation finally clash will determine if existence continues or if Zamasu's dream of divine solitude in empty multiverse finally, terribly, permanently comes true. The sky tears, not metaphorically, not dramatically, literally tears like fabric. Reality's membrane punctured from 6 different dimensional angles simultaneously. Through the wounds, Zamasu emerges. Not 1, 6. Each positioned across different timeline coordinates, each carrying the same twisted expression of righteousness corrupted into insanity. His appearance has evolved beyond recognition. The green skin now crystalline, translucent flesh showing divine essence flowing like luminous blood beneath surface. His white hair extends into energy tendrils that right through dimensions. His body shifts between solid matter and compressed starlight. Beautiful in the way black holes are beautiful, terrible in the way infinity is terrible. Around him, timelines scream. Plants wither instantly. Water evaporates before touching ground. The atmosphere itself recoils from his presence. 12 Supreme Kai's worth of stolen divinity radiates from him like poison. Like the universe itself, is allergic to his existence. Future Trunks' timeline serves as the primary battlefield. The ruins of a world already destroyed. Fitting stage for confrontation between God and his traitorous weapon. Survivors hide in underground shelters. My coordinates evacuations through communication systems that barely function under Zamasu's energy pressure. The resistance that fought for years against extinction now hides while gods decide if their world burns again. Zamasu speaks. His voice echoes across 6 timeline positions, creating harmonics that sound like reality breaking. Goku Black, my perfect weapon, my divine instrument of justice. You have committed the ultimate sin, not disobedience, not failure, but mercy. You have chosen mortal weakness over divine purity. And for that, I will erase not just you, but everyone you have tried to save. Every mortal you touched with corrupted compassion dies. Every timeline you occupy burns. I will make you watch your weakness become extinction. Will force you to see why gods who develop conscience deserve only oblivion. Black stands alone on fractured ground. His white Risei transformation active. Radiant and calm. He does not respond to Zamasu's words. Does not justify or explain. He simply exists. Pure bait. Perfect target. The weapon daring its maker to consolidate for satisfaction of personal destruction. Zamasu's 6 forms move simultaneously, attacking from different dimensional angles, energy blades that cut space itself, destructive waves that erase matter on contact, divine judgment given infinite expression through bodies that occupy multiple timelines. Black defends. His movements precise, efficient, no wasted motion. He does not counterattack, does not try to hurt Zamasu, just survives, just maintains position, just waits for the moment when rage overrides strategy, when Zamasu's need to punish his weapon personally becomes stronger than tactical advantage of staying fragmented. The opening attacks test Black's power, Zamasu probing, analyzing, discovering that his weapon has achieved stable transformation. That divine corruption has been purified into something cleaner. This should please Zamasu, should prove divine Kai's superiority when properly channeled. But it only enrages him more, because Black's purity is not Zamasu's purity, not righteousness, but protection. The very mortal concept Zamasu designed the Zero Mortals plan to erase. Black takes damage. Zamasu's blades cut deep. Divine energy burns through Saiyan flesh. Blood falls. The body that survived so much now torn by its creator's fury, but Black does not fall, does not retreat. Goku's body too adapted to combat, too conditioned for pain, too Saiyan to quit while breathing remains possible. Zamasu's voice rises. Mocking, vicious. Divinity wielded like weapon, you resist, you stand, you pretend strength, but you are alone. The mortals you protect cower like insects. The gods you betrayed me for watch without aid. You have chosen to be weapon for weaklings, and weapons for weaklings break. Then Goku appears. Instant transmission. Signature technique. He materializes beside Black. Blue transformation blazing. That infectious grin on his face. His voice cheerful despite the apocalyptic scenario. Hey, sorry we are late. Had to make sure wise calculations were right. Time travel is tricky even for angels. But we are here now. And fighting myself alongside myself against an evil god seems like exactly the kind of weird fun I live for. Vegeta arrives next. His own instant transmission courtesy of learning the technique through pure spite. Blue evolution active. His aura darker, more aggressive. His voice carrying familiar contempt. Do not think this makes us allies, abomination. This makes us weapons pointed at the same target. When Zamasu falls, you and I have unfinished business. Trunks emerges from dimensional portal wise created. His sword glowing with energy accumulated from resistance fighters across his timeline. Every survivor who still breathes contributed power. Every heart still beating added strength. His blade carries hope of timeline that refuses to die. His voice steady despite fear. For my mother, for my world, for everyone Zamasu destroyed thinking himself righteous. This ends today. Wise and Beerus appear last, the angel and god of destruction. Divine authority manifested. Wise staff glows with calculation. Beerus destruction energy swirls purple and hungry. The god of destruction speaks with voice that makes timelines vibrate. Zamasu, rogue supreme Kai, murderer of your peers. You have violated every law governing divine conduct. The Grand Priest has authorized your termination. I, Beerus, god of destruction of Universe 7, execute judgment. You are cancelled. Zamasu stares at them, at the alliance arrayed against him, at Goku and his stolen copy standing side by side, at Saiyan warriors who refuse to break, at divine authority he no longer recognizes, and he laughs. The sound crosses dimensions, insane and ecstatic, righteous and broken. You think numbers matter. You think mortal determination and divine authority combined can stop absolute truth. I am not rogue. I am awakened. I have consumed 12 Supreme Kai's essences, have transcended the hierarchy that made me. I exist in 6 timelines simultaneously. I am no longer bound by single-dimensional existence. I am justice without limit, extinction without mercy. The answer to the question the multiverse was too cowardly to ask. What happens when God stops pretending mortals matter? He attacks then. All 6 positions moving in perfect coordination, because Zamasu is not 6 fighters. He is one consciousness with 6 bodies. Perfect coordination. Zero communication delay. He experiences every angle simultaneously. Energy blades from timeline 1. Destructive waves from timeline 2. Reality warping attacks from 3 and 4. Divine judgment techniques from 5. And from 6, Zamasu's primary position, a technique that should not exist. Black Kamehameha merged with divine destruction energy. Goku's signature attack corrupted by stolen body and powered by murdered gods. The attack forces the alliance to separate. Goku and Black dodge left. Vegeta and Trunks right. Wise erects barrier protecting Beerus so the god of destruction can charge proper erasure technique. The battlefield fractures further. Timelines bleeding into each other. Past and future becoming indistinguishable as Zamasu's power warps causality itself. Goku engages Zamasu's position 1. Blue Kaioken times 20. Red aura overlaying blue. Speed that breaks dimensional barriers. Power that makes gods pause. He trades blows with Zamasu at velocities that would atomize normal matter. Each punch creates shockwaves. Each kick tears holes in space. The 2 fighters spiraling through dying sky like twin stars colliding. But Zamasu holds advantage. His 6 positions allow him to attack Goku from multiple angles. Blade from behind while Goku focuses forward. Energy blast from different timeline intersecting this one. Goku takes damage. Blood sprays, his gi tears, but he grins through the pain, through the impossible odds, because this is what Goku does. Faces extinction with smile and stubborn refusal to accept defeat. Vegeta attacks position 3. His blue evolution form pushed to absolute limit. Pride made manifest. Arrogance turned into weapon. He does not fight like Goku. No fancy combinations. No dramatic techniques. Just overwhelming continuous assault. Punch, kick, blast, repeat. Mechanical efficiency powered by burning ego. Vegeta refuses to be weaker than Kakarot. Refuses to let rogue God prove mortals inferior. Refuses to give Zamasu satisfaction of seeing Saiyan Prince kneel. But Zamasu counters with Goku's techniques, with movements and instincts stolen from the body he wears. Instant transmission dodges, afterimage tricks, Kamehameha and Spirit Bomb foundations twisted into divine attacks. Watching Zamasu use Goku's style infuriates Vegeta beyond reason, makes his attacks wilder, stronger, sloppier. The prince losing discipline to rage. Trunks faces position 5, his sword against Zamasu's energy blade. Steel enhanced by hope against divine judgment made manifest. The clash creates light shows, sparks that right poetry of civilization's refusal to die. Trunks fights with technique learned from father and fury inherited from mother. Each strike carries memory, each block honors the dead. He is not strongest fighter here, not fastest, not most powerful, but he is most determined, because this is his timeline, his people, his responsibility. Zamasu mocks him while fighting. You are weak. Your mother was weak. Your resistance was pathetic. Your timeline was dead the moment we arrived. Everything you fight for is ash and delusion, except extinction. Except that gods were right and mortals were mistakes. Trunks does not respond with words. Responds with his blade finding gaps in Zamasu's defense. With energy slashes that actually wound crystalline flesh. With fighting spirit that refuses extinction even when extinction seems inevitable. He is Vegeta's son, Bulma's boy, survivor of apocalypse, and he will not kneel to God who thinks suffering is philosophy. Black engages position 6, Zamasu's primary body, creator versus creation, God versus weapon, the two beings who share responsibility for billions dead now trying to kill each other. Their fight is not just physical, it is philosophical. Every attack carries argument, every defense makes statement. Zamasu attacks with righteous fury, with divine techniques perfected through consuming supreme kais, with power that should overwhelm Black easily. You are fragment. You are corrupted tool. You are mistake I will correct by erasing you from every timeline you infected with mortal weakness. Black counters with stable power, with Saiyan instinct merged with divine kai, with white Risei form that represents impossible integration. I am not fragment. I am synthesis. I am what happens when your weapon develops conscience, and I will stop you not because I am stronger, but because I must. Because if I do not, then every death I caused has no meaning. Every life I took becomes just murder without purpose. Let me have purpose. Let me be weapon that finally chooses right target. Their blades clash. Pink divine energy against white radiant power. The impact creates temporal distortion. Past versions of themselves flickering visible. Zamasu before corruption. Goku before body theft. All the choices that led to this moment playing out in spectral echo. And now comes the moment that changed everything. But before we reach that turning point, we need to understand why it had to happen. Why Black's choice matters. Why weapon choosing maker as target represents more than simple betrayal. Because in all of Dragon Ball's history, in all its battles between good and evil, never has the tool of extinction turned protector. Never has divine weapon developed mortal conscience. Never has stolen body retained enough original soul to reject its thief. Black's existence is unprecedented. His choice is singular, and his fight against Zamasu represents question the multiverse has never had to answer. Can something born from evil become good? Can weapon choose to be shield? Can destroyer learn protection? The answer plays out in combat, in blood and light and screaming energy, in the space between death and life where all meaningful choices happen. Wise analyzes the battle from outside immediate combat, his staff processing six-dimensional positions simultaneously, calculating power levels, energy distribution, regeneration rates. After several seconds, his expression grows concerned. Lord Beerus, erasure technique is our trump card, but Zamasu's temporal resonance means simple hackai will not suffice. You must charge full power, must prepare to erase him from all six positions simultaneously, and that will drain you completely. Beerus knows, has already accepted. His destruction energy builds, purple sphere growing between his palms, condensing, compressing, all his power as god of destruction focused into single technique. This is not casual destruction, not the lazy erasure he uses on annoying mortals. This is full divine authority. This is god of destruction executing peer with complete commitment. The energy grows, time slows around it, reality warps, even other fighters feel it. Feel the weight of erasure technique charged to maximum. Feel death given specific target and singular purpose. But charging takes time, and Zamasu notices. Of course he notices. He experiences six battlefield positions simultaneously, sees everything. His position too disengages from combat, abandons fight with Vegeta. Instant transmission toward Beerus. Energy blade aimed at God of Destruction's core. If he disrupts the charge, erasure fails. If erasure fails, battle turns toward Zamasu's advantage. Black sees it, sees Creator moving to kill God of Destruction, sees the technique that could end this fight about to be interrupted, sees the choice between surviving or ensuring Zamasu's defeat. No hesitation, no debate, just action. Black moves faster than ever before. White Risei pushed beyond limits. Instant transmission copying Goku's muscle memory. He appears between Zamasu and Beerus, takes the energy blade meant for God of Destruction. The divine weapon pierces his stomach, goes completely through, Goku's body impaled on Zamasu's judgment. Pain explodes, agony beyond measure. Divine energy designed to kill gods burning through mortal flesh. Black scream echoes across timelines, but his hands grip Zamasu's arm, lock tight, preventing withdrawal, preventing Zamasu from pulling back and attacking Beerus again. Zamasu stares at his weapon, at the god in stolen body choosing death to protect destroyer, at the tool that has become shield. His expression shifts, confusion, rage, something that might be grief if gods understood loss. You dare. You sacrifice yourself for them, for the god of destruction, for mortals you murdered. You think this makes you redeemed. You think dying heroically erases what you are. Black coughs blood, Goku's blood, spilling down chin and staining ground. His voice weak but clear. No, this does not erase anything, does not make me good, does not grant redemption I do not deserve, but it stops you. And stopping you matters more than what I am, more than what I was, more than any judgment waiting after death. He detonates his Kai. White Risei exploding outward from point-blank range, not to kill Zamasu, to force him back, to buy seconds for Beerus' technique to finish. The explosion consumes both of them, Black and his creator, weapon and maker, wrapped in divine destruction that tears through dimensional barriers. When the light fades, Black falls, his body broken, hole through his stomach, divine energy still burning his cells. Goku's incredible healing factor struggling against corruption. He lands in rubble, breathes shallowly, stares at sky that tears and bleeds, knows death approaches, accepts it, his purpose fulfilled, the weapon's final function complete. Zamasu staggers, his position too damaged by the explosion, crystalline flesh cracked, divine essence leaking, but not defeated, not even close. He has 5 other positions, 5 other bodies. He recalls them all, every position converging on primary timeline. All 6 Zamas's combining location to overwhelm remaining fighters before Beerus completes erasure. But that is exactly what they needed. Zamasu consolidating, becoming single target, trading tactical flexibility for concentration of power. Wise sees it, sees the moment, sees victory possibility materializing. Lord Beerus, now, while he is consolidated, full power Hakai, erase him completely. Beerus releases the technique. God of Destruction's ultimate authority, purple sphere expands, touches Zamasu's crystalline flesh, and begins erasing, not killing, erasing, deleting from existence, removing from past, present, and future, making it so Zamasu never was. Zamasu screams, feels himself disappearing, feels divine essence unraveling, feels the multiverse rejecting his existence. He tries to split again, tries to fragment across timelines, but Beerus Hakai follows, spreads, pursues him through every dimensional crack, relentless, absolute, God of Destruction living up to title, but Zamasu has 12 Supreme Kai's essences, has power beyond normal divine limits. He resists, actually resists complete erasure. His scream becomes technique, divine judgment given voice. He channels every stolen essence into shield, into protection, into refusal. His body morphs, crystalline structure spreading, trying to become harder than erasure, trying to exist despite non-existence claiming him. The Hakai slows, struggles, Beerus' eyes widen. Impossible. He has never seen anything resist complete erasure, has never encountered being that could fight deletion itself. Wise, he is too powerful. The stolen essences provide resistance. I need more power. Goku does not hesitate. He appears beside Beerus. Blue Kaioken still active. Take mine, take my energy, use it to push through. Vegeta joins, his pride momentarily secondary to necessity. And mine. No rogue god survives by being more stubborn than Saiyans. Trunks adds his power, sword glowing as he channels everything. For my timeline, for my mother, end him. Their energies flow into Beerus. Saiyan power enhancing divine destruction, blue and purple merging, mortal and god combining. The Hakai expands, intensifies, begins overwhelming Zamasu's resistance. But Zamasu is insane, is broken, is beyond reason. If he cannot exist, then nothing exists. If he must be erased, then erasure becomes shared fate. He detonates every stolen essence, every divine power, every crystalline structure, all of it exploding outward in technique designed not to kill but to merge. Zamasu attempts what future Zamasu did in canon timeline when defeated, tries to become one with universe, to spread his consciousness across all matter, to turn existence itself into weapon. His divine essence spreads like virus, infecting air, ground, energy, reality itself becoming Zamasu, the mad god's final act. If justice cannot win, then justice becomes everything. The infection spreads. Sky turns green with Zamasu's presence. Plants grow crystalline structures. Water glows with divine corruption. He is merging with future Trunks' timeline, becoming the world rather than destroying it. Victory through transformation, extinction through assimilation. Zeno appears, the Omni King, child god who rules all, whose power makes gods of destruction look weak, whose erasure makes Hakai look gentle. He manifests without warning, without announcement, just suddenly present, floating in air, staring at Zamasu spreading corruption, with expression of curiosity mixed with annoyance. His voice is small, childlike, but carries weight that makes Multiverse tremble. This is gross. Everything is all yucky and green. I do not like it, make it go away. His hand raises. No technique, no gathering power, just simple gesture. And Zamasu erases. Not slowly, instantly, completely, every fragment, every corrupted cell, every divine essence, every crystalline structure, every timeline position. Gone, deleted. Removed so thoroughly that even memories of him begin fading. Zeno's erasure is not just physical, it is conceptual, making it so the target never existed in any meaningful sense. Future Trunks' timeline stabilizes. The green corruption vanishes. Sky returns to normal damaged red instead of infected divine green. Reality reasserts itself. Zamasu's presence eliminated so completely that the universe cannot even remember what was being rejected. Silence follows, everyone staring at Zeno, at the child god who just erased what 12 Supreme Kai's essences could not stop, at the being who treats multiversal threats like minor annoyances requiring simple cleanup. Zeno looks around, notices Black, the broken god in stolen body bleeding out in rubble. Zeno floats toward him, stares at him with those two large eyes that see everything. You are the weapon that became good. Zeno's voice still childlike, still simple, but carrying understanding beyond appearance. You hurt lots of people, killed lots, were very bad, but then chose to not be bad anymore. Chose to help stop the really bad one. That is interesting. Black cannot speak, can barely breathe, just stares at Omni King with eyes that accept judgment. That welcome end. That carry no defense and no plea. Zeno tilts his head, like confused puppy examining strange object. I should erase you too. You are part of the mess, part of the yucky stuff, but he pauses, considers, but you chose. Weapons do not choose, tools do not change, but you did. So maybe you are not weapon anymore. Maybe you are person who did very bad things but is trying to be different. He touches Black's chest, where Zamasu's blade pierced, where divine corruption still burns. Zeno's touch is gentle and purifying. The corruption evaporates. The divine essence of Zamasu that lingered in Black's consciousness vanishes. Even the psychic connection between creator and weapon severs. Completely, permanently. What remains is Goku's body, Black's new consciousness, and Goku's residual soul, three pieces no longer fighting, three elements existing in stable unity, the purification complete. Zamasu's influence gone, only the choice remains. The decision to be protector instead of destroyer. Zeno nods, satisfied, there, all better. No more yucky god stuff in you, just you now. Just person who has to live with what he did and what he chooses to do. That is your punishment, living. Remembering, trying to be better even though better never erases worse. The Omni King vanishes, simple as a rival, leaving Black alive, purified, stripped of divine corruption but granted continued existence. The most merciful and most cruel judgment possible. Life with memory, consciousness with guilt, existence with purpose but without redemption. Black lies in rubble, breathing, healing slowly. Goku's Saiyan body mending itself. He stares at sky, at clouds returning to normal patterns, at world that continues despite everything. And he understands, this is not forgiveness. This is responsibility. Living means witnessing consequences. Surviving means spending forever trying to balance impossible scales. Goku approaches first, extends hand, helps Black stand, the original and the copy, Earth's protector and God's failed weapon, standing together in aftermath. Goku grins, that trademark smile that has preceded every unlikely friendship. So, you are sticking around. Gotta say, this will be weird to explain to Kai Kai. Hey honey, remember that evil god who stole my body and murdered me in another timeline? We are kind of friends now. Vegeta appears beside them, his expression unreadable. Do not mistake survival for acceptance. You live because Zeno decided, not because you earned it. You want redemption. Spend eternity pursuing it. And know you will die before achieving it. That is the only proper punishment for gods who play with Saiyan pride. Trunks sheathes his sword. His eyes meet Black's. No forgiveness there, but no active hatred either. Just weary acceptance. You cannot bring my mother back, cannot restore my timeline, but you stopped Zamasu. That counts for something, small something, tiny something, but something. Wise taps his staff, his smile returning. Well, that was certainly educational. Divine purification through Omni King's intervention. Weapon achieving consciousness. God's learning that even absolute plans can be corrupted by unexpected variables like compassion. Fascinating case study. I shall write extensively about this. Beerus yawns, exhausted from full power Hackai, his purple aura dimmed. Enough philosophy, we are done here. Zamasu erased. Timeline saved. Weapon reformed or at least prevented from immediate destruction. I need nap. Someone wake me when next extinction level threat appears. They prepare to leave. To return to present timeline. To resume normal lives interrupted by rogue God's insanity. But Black remains. Standing in ruins of future Trunks' timeline. Staring at destruction he helped cause. At world that survived despite him. Trunks pauses, looks back. You are welcome to return with us. We have room, food, training facilities. It would be monitored. Restricted, every god and fighter watching you constantly, but it would be somewhere to exist. Black shakes his head, his voice quiet but certain. No, this timeline is my responsibility. These people suffered because of me. If I leave, their trauma has no witness. Their pain has no one to hold accountable. I will stay, will help rebuild, will be guardian to world I tried to extinguish, not for forgiveness, for penance, for the rest of whatever existence Zeno granted me. Trunks nods, understanding. Then I will visit, will check progress, will make sure you actually help instead of brood dramatically. Someone needs to keep you honest. They leave. Goku. Vegeta, wise, Beerus, Trunks after final nod. Using time machine and angel travel and instant transmission. Returning to present where life continues without pause for apocalyptic side quests. Black stands alone, in ruins, in silence, in world that hates him and needs him and cannot decide which feeling is stronger. He begins walking, toward nearest survivor shelter, toward people who will scream when they see his face, toward responsibility that will never end. Above him the sky clears, damaged but healing, dying but surviving, like everything in future Trunks' timeline, like Black himself. Broken but continuing, fallen but standing, evil origin choosing good action one painful step at time. The multiversal war ends, not with victory fanfare, not with celebration, but with quiet understanding that sometimes the most powerful transformation is not Super Saiyan or divine form. Sometimes the most powerful transformation is weapon deciding it will be shield, destroyer choosing protection, evil origin stumbling toward good even though good will never erase evil. And in that choice, in that single continuous decision to be better than design intended, Goku Black begins the longest battle of his existence. The fight for redemption he can never win but must pursue anyway. The war against himself that will last until his final breath and beyond. Because some punishments are not death, some judgments are not erasure, some sentences are life, memory, witness, an eternal attempt at balance that will always fall short but must be attempted anyway. This is how gods learn humility. This is how weapons become guardians. This is how stories about extinction become stories about choice. One painful step, one impossible day, one attempt at protection in world that remembers destruction. Forever. 3 months pass in future Trunks' timeline, 3 months of slow reconstruction, of survivors emerging from shelters with eyes that have forgotten how to trust daylight, of children asking why the sky no longer bleeds, of civilization attempting to remember what peace felt like before gods decided mortals were errors. Black works alone most days, lifting rubble that would require machinery mortals no longer possess, purifying water sources contaminated by years of divine warfare, using precise Kai blasts to clear radiation zones where battles between gods left reality scarred. He does not speak to survivors, does not introduce himself, does not explain, just works, silent, constant, present. The people watch him. They know his face, Goku's face, the destroyer's face, but his actions confuse their hatred. Hard to maintain rage toward monster who spends 16 hours daily rebuilding what he destroyed. Difficult to nurture vengeance against God who heals their sick without asking permission or acknowledgement. Mai organizes the resistance into reconstruction force. She sees Black working, sees the white hair that replaced pink, sees the exhaustion in movements that used to carry divine arrogance. She does not forgive, cannot forgive, but she stops shooting on sight, stops ordering immediate attack, settles into wary observation. One evening she approaches, her gun holstered but hand near it. Her voice carries suspicion earned through surviving apocalypse. Why? Simple question, profound weight. Why do you stay? Why do you help? Why do you not leave to timeline that does not hate you? Black continues working, stacking concrete, sorting salvageable materials from wreckage. His answer comes without pause, without deflection, because leaving would be easier. And I do not deserve easier. I deserve to see faces of people I tried to extinguish. Deserve to hear children cry from nightmares about Destroyer wearing this face. Deserve to spend every waking moment reminded that my existence is offense to everyone here. That is not punishment, that is appropriate. My studies him, searches for deception, finds only tired truth. After long silence she speaks again. My fiancé died fighting you, Trunks almost died. Bulma died, millions died. You think building houses and purifying water balances those scales. Black stops working, meets her eyes. Goku's eyes, but carrying weight Goku never had to bear. No, nothing balances those scales. I could rebuild for 1,000 years, and the math never works. Could save millions and still be responsible for billions dead. But doing nothing guarantees my existence has only negative value. At least this way, at least working, my continued breathing serves some purpose beyond taking up space. Mai's hand moves from gun, not to trust, to temporary neutralization of immediate threat assessment. She leaves without another word. But the next day she directs survivors to accept Black's help, tells them the Destroyer is their destroyer, their monster to use, their weapon to aim at reconstruction. Trunks visits monthly, using time machine Bulma built, the one that carries her genius and his grief. He arrives with supplies, medicine, technology, seeds for crops, materials present timeline can spare. He and Black work side by side, not as friends, as two people who share responsibility for timeline's survival. During one visit, Trunks speaks while reinforcing building foundation, his voice casual, hiding weight beneath simplicity. My father asked about you, wanted to know if you had tried anything, if the purification held, if Zamasu's influence returned. Black's hands do not stop moving, continues work while answering. Tell him the purification is permanent. Zamasu's consciousness is gone. Only his actions remain. Only the consequences. Only the memories of what I did while wearing his hatred. Trunks nods. He also said, and here his voice carries something that might be respect, that if you are going to waste Goku's body on penance, at least keep training. Keep the body strong. Because threats do not stop just because one god falls. And future timeline needs protector who actually protects instead of destroys. Black looks at Trunks, sees Vegeta's pride mixed with Bulma's practicality, sees survivor who refuses to let trauma define limits. I do not deserve to call myself protector. Trunks' response immediate, sharp. You do not get to choose what you deserve. You chose to stay, chose to help. So choose to be useful completely. Train. Fight. Become strong enough that if another Zamasu appears, if another extinction comes, this timeline has defender. Not because you earned the right, but because we need it. The words land. Black returns to work. But that night, after survivors sleep and ruins quiet, he trains. Pushes Goku's body through exercises Goku's muscle memory suggests. Practices forms, refines techniques, not for power, for readiness, for responsibility, for the possibility that staying means eventually fighting for instead of against. Months become year, year becomes 2, reconstruction accelerates. West City's skeleton emerges from rubble. East City plans rebuilding. Survivors begin families. Children born who never knew the Destroyer's reign, who see Black as strange protector rather than divine monster. who call him the White One because his hair color is all they know. One child approaches, maybe 6 years old, born during Zamasu's occupation, surviving against probability. She stares at Black with curiosity unmarred by terror. Her question innocent, devastating. Are you a hero? Black stops working, kneels to child's level. Goku's instinct to meet children at their height, to make himself less intimidating. His answer careful, honest. No, heroes save people. I killed people. Many people, more people than you can count. I am not hero. I am person trying to do better than I did. Trying to help because help is all I can offer. The child considers, then says with logic only children possess. My mama says people who try to be better are brave, because being bad is easy but being good is hard. So maybe you are not hero, but you are brave. She leaves, skips away to play in ruins that slowly transform into playground. Black remains kneeling, staring at small footprints in dust, feeling something crack in chest. Not pain, something worse. Hope, dangerous, undeserved. The possibility that existence might eventually mean something beyond penance. He returns to work, but the crack remains. Small fissure in certainty that he deserves only suffering. Tiny gap where purpose beyond punishment might grow. Mai notices the change, confronts him while coordinating supply distribution. You are smiling, barely visible, but smiling. You think you have earned that. Black's smile fades. You are right. I have not, forgive me. Mai's expression shifts. Less anger, more exhaustion. I do not want your apology. I want you to understand. You will never be forgiven, not by me, not by anyone who remembers, but, and here she pauses, searching for words. But maybe that is not the point. Maybe the point is not forgiveness but function. You function as protector now. That does not erase destroyer you were, but it means something, small something. Maybe enough something to justify Zeno letting you live. She leaves. Black continues working, but her words echo, function versus forgiveness, purpose versus absolution. The possibility that redemption is not about being forgiven, but about being useful. About serving despite never erasing debt. About protecting specifically because protection is opposite of what he was. 5 years pass. Future timeline stabilizes. Population grows. Technology returns. Civilization rebuilds, not to previous glory, but to functional survival, to sustainable existence. Trunks visits less frequently. Timeline no longer requires constant present timeline support, can maintain itself, can grow independently. Black remains, constant, watching generations who never knew Destroyer's reign grow, watching timeline that should have died survive, watching his penance become something that might resemble purpose. He trains daily, protects nightly, works constantly, never resting, never stopping, because stopping means thinking. Thinking means remembering. Remembering means drowning. One dawn, after particularly difficult night, Black stands on cliff overlooking West City, the city that died under his hand now rebuilding under his protection. Sun rises, light touching ruins and reconstruction equally, painting everything in colors that suggest hope. Trunks appears beside him. Instant transmission. His visits rare now but meaningful. He stands silent beside Black, 2 protectors watching timeline wake. After long quiet, Trunks speaks. My mother would have hated this. You being here, you helping, you existing, she would have wanted you erased. Completely. Every fragment, she was not forgiving person. Black nods, she was right to want that. I murdered her. Murdered millions. Deserve erasure. Zeno granted mercy instead of justice. Trunks continues, but she also was practical, valued function over philosophy, and you are functional. This timeline survives partly because you stayed, because you worked, because weapon chose to be tool for building instead of destroying. She would have hated it, but she would have used it, used you, because that is what survivors do, use every advantage, every tool, every possibility. Black turns to Trunks, sees Bulma's son carrying her practicality, Vegeta's heir wielding his strength, survivor choosing function over feeling. Thank you, not for forgiveness. for explaining that even hatred can coexist with usefulness, that I can be simultaneously monster and protector, unforgivable and functional. Trunks sheathes his sword, his final words before departing. You asked once what emotion should power your transformation if hatred is gone. I think you found answer. Responsibility. Not divine responsibility. Not God deciding mortals need judgment, but personal responsibility. You broke this world, so you fix it. Forever. That is your emotion. That is your power. That is your purpose. He leaves. Black remains, watching sun climb, feeling warmth that once seemed alien, understanding finally, after years of penance, what his existence means. Not redemption. Redemption requires forgiveness he will never receive. Not atonement. Atonement suggests balancing scales that cannot balance, but responsibility. Simple, clear, permanent. He broke this timeline, so he protects it, forever, until timeline kills him or he dies protecting it. That is the deal. That is the purpose. That is the only meaning his continued existence can possess. Black speaks to empty air, to memory of Zamasu, to ghost of Goku whose body he wears, to himself. Maybe Goku's heart always knew, even when stolen, even when corrupted, even when used for extinction. Maybe some part of that Saiyan soul understood that bodies remember. That flesh carries purpose deeper than consciousness. That even darkness can choose light if given chance, if given reason, if given responsibility weighty enough to matter. He descends from cliff, returns to city, to work, to endless reconstruction, to children who wave at the white one, to survivors who tolerate his presence because usefulness overrides hatred, to timeline that lives despite every reason to die. Above him, sky clears completely, years of divine corruption finally purified, atmosphere returning to natural blue, clouds forming patterns that suggest normalcy, future Trunks timeline healing, slowly, painfully, but healing. And Black, the god who became weapon, who became protector, continues his eternal task, building, defending, existing as living reminder that even absolute evil can choose different path. Not good path, not forgiven path, but different path, path of responsibility, path of function, path of spending forever trying to fix fraction of what was broken. This is divine judgment, not erasure, not punishment, but life, consciousness, witness, memory and choice, eternal choice, to be useful despite being unforgivable, to protect despite being destroyer, to build despite being weapon, forever, until timeline no longer needs him, until responsibility is fulfilled, until final breath releases him from debt that can never be paid. Until then and beyond if possible, Black stands guard, silent protector of world he tried to extinguish, living proof that Zamasu's philosophy was wrong, that even stolen bodies can choose their own purpose, that even gods can learn humility, that even extinction's weapon can become hope's tool. The sun rises fully, new day begins, and Goku Black, guardian of future timeline, begins his work again, as he will tomorrow, and every tomorrow after, for as long as existence and responsibility demand. This is redemption denied and purpose granted. This is punishment that looks like second chance. This is how stories about extinction become stories about choice. One sunrise, one day, one endless attempt at building what was destroyed, forever.